Yo guys, Coach Theo here on Common Sense. I apologize beforehand for the wind. I apologize to your ears and your eyes. Your ears because of the sound, of course, and your eyes because of like whatever this is, I'm sorry about the pain I have to inflict upon at least two of your senses. So I'm here on one of my last few days in Greece before I return to Sweden. So it's kind of a special week, a lot of making arrangements, a lot of last time doing things, saying goodbye to people, returning the car I rented, getting everything in order with the place I've been staying in, etc. So it's this kind of in-between situation, So it's just not on the top of my mind with video ideas. But I figured why not do a little, random update. Well, I'm sure when I'm back in Sweden, that'll do, when I've digested this experience of having lived abroad for over half a year, I'll do a longer, walkthrough or analysis of that. But right now, let's just talk a little bit about whatever comes to mind and a little bit about what I'm thinking for the future. So first of all, because people have asked me, like, oh, why are you going back to Sweden? The thing is that it's been the plan all the time, I've traveled quite a bit in my life. I've just never lived anywhere else or in another country for a longer amount of time like this. So it was kind of a test. I always planned to go back to Sweden in the summer, and I've been happy here. So it's more a question of when I return rather than if, But yeah, like I said, I've never lived anywhere else like this before. You learn a lot about yourself, just putting yourself in new situations, new experiences. You learn more not about just the thing you're doing, but about yourself, right? And especially since I've had quite challenging things come up in my life that are unrelated to the situation I've been in, it's still interesting to see, like, okay, how do I deal with pain and suffering and, feelings of depression, anxiety, etc., when I'm completely out of my regular comfort zone like that. Because also, it's not only being in a different country, like my living situation. I've always lived in a big city, Stockholm, right? And now I've been living in this small place, like a little village town, basically. So it's new. It's been a new experience to me, other than just being in a new country. But yeah, what do we want to talk about? Yeah, well, I guess I'll go more in depth about those things in a future video. But man, it really is like we need to put ourselves in new situations, and especially situations when we don't feel entirely comfortable. That's what I realized. That's how I had been going in thoughts of wanting to try living somewhere else for a long time. But it was also that, I found this path in life about challenging yourself, making yourself uncomfortable, like choosing to expose yourself to adversity or discomfort. And I realized, for a while that, yeah, I was doing some of those things, but I was in an environment that was just very familiar to me. So that was, it was interesting that I expected to not be entirely prepared for the, this new experience. But it's interesting because I always talk about that you can only have ideas about things, but you don't know what they're actually like until you experience it. So even when I knew, like, yeah, I'm going to be uncomfortable, I'm going to have some difficulties, I couldn't be prepared exactly for what that felt like. I remember coming here, everything is new. I know a little bit of the language. Turns out, there's really no gym close to where you're staying. It's much more difficult to look something up like that in another country, in a different language, So, and I was just put in a situation where I had to figure out a lot for myself. And then the funny thing is, when you embrace this, when you know this, it goes very fast. Like when you just know what the process gotta look like. Like I said, I didn't know exactly what it would feel like. I just knew, I'm gonna be out of my comfort zone, and I'm gonna have to just figure it out. And when you know that, you figure it out much faster than expected. Like I think less than 2 weeks in here, I had built kind of a routine. I was just loving it, No, but also what it does, living somewhere else, if you've mostly been in the same place, really apart from learning new things about yourself and the place you're in now, it kind of highlights what you like or dislike about the place you're from. Like something I've really learned, I gotta appreciate, even if I think the big cities now are kind of hellish, you know, shitholes, lots of robot people there. I gotta say, in Sweden in general, it's not just in Stockholm, like just the quality of most things is just high. Like take almost whatever, you know, people complain about a lot of things in Sweden, like, you know, how do you say that? You know, collective traffic, the subway, buses and stuff. And there's room for improvement, but still it's so much better than here. And just the quality of a grocery store or a gym or whatever. Like the grocery stores here, food stores are fine, but gyms, for instance, like the one I've been in, it's fine, but it's old equipment and stuff like this, you know. So I gotta say, that's one thing I really appreciate about Sweden. Just the standard of most things is just very high. Yeah, no, but I think that's it. You know, I'm gonna talk more about my experience living here. But what I'm thinking for the future now is, it's been quite a spiritual journey for me this year. That's also been very good, to just be somewhere else, and like in Greece, you know, the ancient Greeks were quite spiritual, right? So it's been interesting for this inward journey, and I'll definitely keep doing content about that. But also I'm starting to get really excited about, you know, I'm finishing a cut. I'll finish a fast, or I'll start a fast on the day I leave here, and it's going to be like a 60-ish hour fast, my favorite. And then I'll probably consider myself done with cutting, and I'm going to have a period of like 1 to 2 months where I'm not really, like, I'm not going to be holding back on food, but I'm not going to be bulking. I'm going to be experimenting a lot with training for when I will start to bulk. Most likely, you know, end of August, early September, I'll like officially start bulking like that. And I'm gonna take the opportunity then to do more content about bodybuilding, you know. Like I talk a lot about the lifestyle, training, diet, fasting and that. But there's been a lot of focus for people about just weight loss, and I feel like when people comment on this channel, they're like, oh, I train full body, this is about per week, blah blah blah. I feel like you guys need to learn more about the details of training, of building muscle and training for, you know, my style of bodybuilding really is what I want to bring you more. It's quite interesting actually how I have a deep philosophy about all of this, but I've really never, since it's wider on this channel what I talk about than just that, I've never really fleshed it out, you know. So I'm thinking I'm gonna do some like longer video where I just go through a whole bunch of shit. You know, I think that's always challenging too. When you're like, okay, I have a million things to say about this. Where do I start? You know, but I'm just thinking I'm gonna have an arc where I focus a little bit more on talking about actual training, bodybuilding, and will just fit very well to do when I go on a period when I start training harder, right? So that's, or like training, bulking actually to make progress. I'll say that too. It's kind of unrelated to being in Greece, but I've never made such good training progress while cutting before. So that's what I gotta give the daily deficit versus fasting, especially when you're more advanced like myself. It's easier to dial it in so you can actually make some progress. It's been quite incredible that I've been pushing my bench up very, very, very slowly, but even pushing the bench up on a deficit is just great. It's not expected. It's way different. You know, take a thing like weighted chin-ups, like you're actually losing body weight, so you're expected to make some progress that maybe even isn't really progress. If you become lighter and you can do more reps, it's kind of like, you know, but it feels like progress. While a bench press could be that even if you're training well, suddenly, because you lost body weight, you just have way worse leverages and actually lose reps, have to lower the weight. So that's been quite cool. The one-arm chin-up, actually I've trained a bit for it on and off, but now during this cut I've been taking it more seriously, definitely making progress there. So that would be pretty cool if I could get that before I go on my bulking phase. You know, it's not a goal that's super important to me, But sometimes you just gotta have goals to work towards, because I'm really enjoying the training for it. It's just that I don't really care that much of the end goal, but it's also, we talk about that a lot on the channel. It's about the journey is the destination, right? But for some things like training goals, you wanna you wanna reach that point, right? At some point too, you actually get the one arm chin up, and then you just decide if you wanna go for more reps, or if you wanna be able to add some weight and do one arm chin up, for instance. Yeah, but guys, I think that's it. I'll say here, the uploading schedule might be a little messy here, and like I said, some stuff, a special week here before I leave. But what I know is, if not something before that, I'm gonna end this trip with a fast. So I'm gonna capture some things on the break fast day, do some kind of video from that. So at the very latest, next Monday, you'll have a video. I hopefully find time to do at least one more this week. But okay, that's all, guys. Anything that came to mind, please let me know in a comment below, and please like and comment anyway. All comments and likes help support the channel, so I appreciate it a lot. I am having a sort of special coaching offer right now during the summer. If you want to know more about that, you can reach me on Instagram or email me. It's all in the description below. Please subscribe for more content about fitness, fasting, losing weight, building muscle, self-improvement, stoicism, mental health, philosophy, spirituality, mindset. It's a mindset, guys. I don't have anything more to say than that. Okay, peace.